Okay, my name is Billy McLeod from Veterans in Action. Over the last 5-6 years, we've had great sponsorship from Regatta Outdoors. It went above and beyond this expedition. We've had lots and lots of equipment for them. We have to say we've had it in the field now for 6 weeks, and I have to say the equipment is exceptional. We can't thank them enough for their support over the last 5-6 years, but especially for this one. The kit has been fantastic. There's been over 50 veterans involved in this project, and I'd like to thank you personally for all of them.
Hi, Stuart Ward. I've been here from the start, really from the build. The guys have been using the workshop that I run, obviously to help the build, so that's why I'm here.
Hi, I'm George Ward, Stu's dad. No, Stu's son. Just helped with the build and came on to the expedition.
I was first involved in the whole project. A friend of mine, Tim Gibbs, mentioned it to me. So I obviously then popped up to the centre and met all the guys on the initial meeting, and obviously offered my services with my workshop up to the charity. So initially we started off with agreeing that one weekend a month I would clear my workshop from the Thursday evening. And then the guys would turn up Friday morning and work pretty much right through till Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, just working on the vehicles and building up the vehicles to where we needed them to be. So initially the build started off really well. Everyone's enthusiasm was brilliant. We did have a bit of help from the farm where my workshop is, because they gave us the use of another barn so we could store the vehicles actually on site with all the spares and everything, which was great. So on a build weekend, it was literally 100 metres away, pull all the vehicles out, pull the spares out, bring them into the workshop, and then start from where we left off from the following weekend. As the build went on, we lost that ability to hold the vehicles on site, so we had to move them back to the centre each weekend, which then started to make things a little bit more difficult. Certain things were getting moved about, missed, lost in translation, not being ordered and stuff like that. So it was a bit difficult towards the end of the build, which was a bit frustrating. But we managed it. We got there just purely through perseverance, and I think it was just the fact of that I would not allow it to fail.
That came in the first after the meeting and said there's a build weekend. I asked what we're building, and he said, well, we're building 4 Land Rovers to take for them to go over to Europe for a 6-week expedition. So I've been on the build since the start. Been at it nearly every weekend. For me, that was kind of a learning curve because I'm going to join up. So it was kind of to get the social life and the banter between the squaddies, and just to get to know some older folk, really. I felt I was part of a family, a unit. After obviously a couple of months, started obviously with the bond. I started to get to know the guys' names and they know mine, and it was just a nice atmosphere to be around. I was offered a week, which I wanted to take, so I wanted to do some travelling and the experience of going on an expedition and going off-road. Then a couple of weeks before, possibly a month, I was told that I was on an expedition for the full weeks and I was chuffed to bits. And to travel around Europe, places I've never been, and to understand the guys' issues and how being in the army can affect them.
So when obviously George was told that he could go for the whole 6 weeks, it was a decision that made by me and my wife Rachel. You know, knowing the guys for as long as I did, because the build part of the whole thing was 10 months long. So over that 10 months, I've got to know Billy and the rest of the crew really, really well. And I personally felt that, you know, George to go away on it with the guys, he would be in safe hands, he would be looked after. You know, anything happened, you know, it would be dealt with on site. So me and my wife had a discussion about it. Yes, a fantastic opportunity for George to go away with the guys to learn how life is without being around his parents and being at home. So me and Rachel had a discussion about it, you know, and we felt that because we got to know the guys that well, we could allow him to go knowing that he was in safe hands, you know, and for him as a 17 to be able to go and do what the guys have done at his age is something you can't miss, really. And then it's just that ability for him just to get away from that safety net of home and start to learn to be able to deal with situations that come up on his own without his mum and dad's because obviously he's got the guys there to ask questions, and you know he'll learn from their experiences. He'll learn from them. For us, it was just an opportunity he couldn't miss. So initially, because I have my own business, 6 weeks away from it would have been a long time for me to leave the business because I work on my own. That's not to say that I didn't want to do it. I would have loved to have come for the whole 6 weeks, you know, just to see the whole thing through to the end. Fortunately, I've been able to get on it for the last sort of like 2 weeks, you know, 10 days to 2 weeks, which has been absolutely brilliant. You know, the guys have seen some stuff. We've been to some places that are just amazing, you know, and some places really choke you up, you know, the size of it and everything like that. So the experience the guys have had for the 4 weeks prior to me joining them must have been tremendous. You know, some of the guys have been back to Bosnia where they've served and unfortunately lost friends during the conflict. You know, for them to go back and almost face their demons, as it were, you know, for them it's a big thing, you know. So, yeah, it's just been a privilege for me just to be here for the last 10 to 14 days. It's been amazing.
Being on the expedition was hard. I was quite homesick a lot. But the guys sort of kind of helped me through that. Learning with their issues, some of them had disagreements, and learning how they dealt with them and bring that into my own life instead of going off the rails or something like that. Just completely mucked it up. Well, being away from home has allowed me to grow, be more of an individual and stop relying on my parents to do stuff. And now I've got the confidence to go places with my mates and to know that I'll be alright. Also, to get along with some of the guys on the builds, a bit more, get to know them better and their issues, and go to places where they've lost friends when they joined, when they were serving, to feel what they felt. Those places. My favourite places would have to be mainly at the start when we were travelling through. Would have to be towards the back end of France, Belgium. Croatia, good place. My worst experience with probably have to be my worst experiences would have to be Italy and Greece, because they're just not right. Probably having that crash, but for me that was another learning curve. To see how everyone switched on, we got the vehicle out, we were safe and sound. The day of the crash, I was ill, I had heat stroke. Some of the guys, I was comfortable with some of the guys, and towards the end of the midday, I was sort of feeling better. I slept a little bit, and then I went back to sleep and woke back up. We were off-roading, and being 2 minutes, that was 2 minutes before we went down the side of the mountain. When I felt after the crash, I wasn't worried about how I was feeling, to be honest. I was more worried about the other two guys I was travelling with, and if they were alright. And I didn't quite actually feel ill anymore. That kind of sorted me out. So I didn't move initially. I just stayed where I was because I didn't know what injuries I could have had, or as such, or what injuries they could have had. So we verbally talked to each other within the vehicle to see if we were all alright, if we could move our toes and stuff like that. And then we eventually started to move. And by that point, there were people at the bottom of the hill already there, ready to help us get out.
Yeah, quite a surreal day that was. We had a phone call. Billy phoned me up. Me seeing Billy's number, just expected to, have we got any of this, have we got any of that, can we get it sent out type thing. But straight away I knew something was up. Billy's voice wasn't right, and I could tell that he was under enormous pressure at that time, you know, and the thought of having to phone me as George's father to tell me that he'd been involved in an accident must have been quite difficult for him. So, you know, but he assured me that George was fine. The car is a write-off, but George and the others are all fine, which is the main thing. You know, the main thing is that the guys are not hurt in any way, you know, and everybody survived. But the good thing about it is that, you know, kind of made sure you built the car right, didn't you, really, in the end. So for that to happen, and for the guys to come out with maybe a bit of a bruise here and there, was a good thing.
Moving on from the expedition, when I started, I was unemployed. I left my job. But since I've been out on the expedition, I've been given a job working for the old man, which is brilliant, to be honest, because just working on cars, always something I wanted to do, and give me more experience before I go into the army.
Yeah, I think he's good. I think, you know, he showed that he's got that ability to learn in any kind of situation, and he's willing to learn, you know. And the phone call came through, I think it was something like week 3. I'm definitely joining up when I get back, Dad, you know. So me and Rachel had a chat, and we just said, right, okay, so probably looking at 6 to 9 months for that process to happen before he goes in. So for him, I'd rather him doing something that he enjoys and something that he's going to get some experience out of than working in a fast food restaurant somewhere, you know. So we said to him, how about coming and working for me? I'll be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice. Certainly having someone around and teaching him some of the stuff that I know, you know, just to give him that base for when he does walk through those gates.
It was great to be finally entering back into the UK. I felt that the expedition as a whole was very successful, and that we had learned a lot about ourselves and how we do things. On a personal level, I was drained with the responsibility of the whole expedition. I needed to rethink how we do things in the future. This project was bigger than the 42 days of the expedition,
It had been a year of planning, followed by 10 months of building vehicles, then the expedition, and during the time, we had been working non-stop to make this a reality. Was it worth it? I believe the testimonies of those involved shows it was more than worth it, and it was fantastic to see individuals grow. But of course, this was tainted by those who didn't get the best experience, and that sits badly with us as a team and shows that there's plenty of room for learning and growth. Would I do it again? Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you on our travels and on our next expedition.